I hate negative gearing so much. Government just got it wrong. So here's 5 reasons why negative gearing is just stupid. And this is coming up today because I'm very passionate about it, because I'm getting heaps of clients who have been sold dodgy off the plan property off the theory of negative gearing. It's just dumb. So number 1 is it just locks you into your 9-to-5 job. So let me use my hands here to describe it, right? Negative gearing is essentially where I'm going to use this hand here as the cost to look after a property, right? I'm talking not just the mortgage repayments, council rates, water rates, insurances, that sort of stuff. Then in this hand is going to be the rent that you have coming in. This is what negative gearing looks like, right? Negative cash flow intentionally is a different thing. I'm just talking about negative gearing as an overall strategy. Is not a good strategy to withhold, okay? So negative gearing is where it looks like this. And what they do is they say, well, because you're at this loss and the rent's not making up for it, you know what? We're going to give you some tax deductions. The tax deductions don't make up for that loss though. Now, there can be very, very, very rare scenarios where you can actually be negatively geared and the depreciation can literally give you a tax refund greater than what the loss was. That is extremely rare and hard to achieve though. But now, if you have a think about it, so you're running at a loss, which means who's keeping up the difference? Well, your 9-to-5 job, so you being the little minion going to your 9-to-5 job is the thing keeping it afloat, right? But yet most people come to wanting to build wealth in order to get cash flow. That's generally what most people want, is they want income to live off. They think they want a big cash buffer at the end, like a big lump sum payout of cash to live off, but they don't know that that'll just be chewed away with inflation anyway. So all it's doing is locking you into your 9-to-5 job, which then, because a proportion of your income, maybe like 10 or 15% of your income, is then going to the investment property to keep that afloat, right? So then that has a massive, big emotional impact on you. Some people struggle to sleep at night because they're so fucking worried about keeping this other thing afloat. And then it's not a very good way to mitigate different storms, such as interest rates going up, for example, or maintenance problems that happens with houses that you didn't plan for. My properties though, I don't do that. And if you've stuck around for this video so far, watch to the end. The best one I'm saving till the last. Now, the second reason why negative gearing is stupid is because it just literally chews up your borrowing capacity much quicker. And you need the borrowing capacity from the bank so that you can keep building wealth. You need the bank to be on your side. It's the reason why most of us are investing in property. And the third reason why it sucks is because you haven't got diversification in terms of your income streams. So with negative gearing, because so many people do it, the average Australian gets stuck on 1 or 2 properties, right? If you're stuck on, let's just even say you actually have a higher than average income and you get stuck on 3 negatively geared properties. That means you've got income just for 3 properties. Ew! If I have $1 million worth of debt, my $1 million worth of debt is spread across about 6 or 7 properties. Because then the more income streams I have, the more the higher the velocity of how many times I can increase my rents by, which means it helps during different storms because it means I've got somebody else whose lease is just about to end around the corner, I can pop their rent up. Whereas if you just got 2 properties, it's 2 customers, aka 2 doors, 2 income streams, no thank you. And now the fourth one, this one actually makes me want to vomit. I'm like, what? The government came up with this idea. Who the f wants to take advice from the scammy government? Their job is to keep us like working little minions. The government came up with an idea and said, you know what? What do Aussies love? What have we convinced them that they love?
Oh, they love this property stuff.
Okay, so what else do we need them to do?
We need them to stay in their 9-to-5 jobs.
Okay, how can we help with this?
All right, we're going to target the high income earners, the doctors, the lawyers, the accountants, those high-end sort of people.
Back in the late 80s. So they said, well, you've gone to uni to get this big degree for your job, and it looks like you've convinced yourself that staying in there for the rest of your life is a great idea. But however, their taxes are in the highest tax bracket. So we'll trick them into thinking they're getting this really good tax bracket, which is true. Yes, they would get a really good tax deduction. However, all that's doing is them locking them into that fucking job. If the government doesn't include wealth building at school, there's no fucking way I'm taking outside advice for wealth building from them. Like they're not really truly talking about or teaching compounding and inflation and leverage. Literally the 3 greatest words to advance your wealth position. But yet they want to say, yeah, go ahead, do this depreciation and negative gearing thing. Okay, so number 5, last but not least, is the most important one to know when it comes to negative gearing. the tax deduction benefits that you got for doing that entire strategy, when you sell the house, you have to give it back. What? Okay, I'm gonna do an example and I'm gonna keep it really, really simple and use average numbers. I'm gonna make up this example, okay? Say you bought a house and it was negatively geared and you held it for 10 years and you were losing, let's just say 10 grand on average every year. But let's say for argument's sake that you got $6,000 back each year though in terms of tax deductions and depreciation. Depreciation is an awesome thing to get, by the way, because it's not a bill, it's just literally free money. So you got the $6,000 back each tax year, great. You're like, yay, I'm up. But that amount accumulated over that entire period, like collectively, you have to pay it back when you go to sell the property. So then your only strategy then is to really hold on to that one property for probably a very long time, right? Probably good like 10 years, because the capital growth would need to really outperform all the losses that you ended up having to pay back as well. But then maybe you're thinking, yeah, but that's all right, because capital growth you'd probably still do all right. That capital growth could still outperform the cost of that losses that you made. And that's the great Australian argument towards it. But what people don't realize is that like you were stuck on two. So it's not like your wealth is gonna go through the fucking roof. Like you were capped by doing this strategy in the first place. And also living off cash is really dumb. We want to have cash flow, cash flow. So if you follow me, hopefully you know to try and stick to these things will be so much easier in terms of building your wealth. Number one, don't do negative gearing. It's dumb. Number two, forgot what I was about to say for the second one. Number two is don't do off the plan. Yuck. Stay away from those dodgy sales guys selling you off the plan property, please. And number three, try and do this thing called rent vesting. So after watching this video, if you're still confused about what negative gearing is and why it's so bad, then comment the word below intro and I'll have my team send you another video where I go into the real depths of this sort of stuff and sharing screens and images that might help. Or you can click the link in my bio because I know it's in there somewhere. And instead, let's just build wealth of these, shall we?